Okay, let me keep start tutorials when then through and do through when statement stubbing statement. Okay, as we know, sometimes we expected the assert through exception, and we can try and catch this exception, do some special header or perform. All right, let me copy the nested class. Okay, change the name. Nested. Oh, no need the class keywords at here. When then through and do through. When statement through and do through. When okay, we just demonstrated the list for our example. When then through, we expected Dairy call the list get elements from zero indexed and then through the exception. That's the runtime exception, right? Okay. And now we could not assert by assert that statement. We need to define the executable. Executable Jupyter function, yeah. And call the list get zero. Assertion assert throughs. Okay. Runtime exception and pass executable into this method. Of course, we can this through provided some another overload style. We can use a runtime exception instant at here and pass at here. Okay. One and define executable 1, 2, 1. Okay. Two. Of course, we can use the assertion batch. That's all. That's all. You can see copy this one. Right. And copy this too. Okay. Execution the test method and watch the result. Oops. Execution this one. As you can see, the result matched our expected, right? Because we stubbing when list gets the element from zero index or one index, and well, through the exception tab is runtime exception, right? That's cool. And of course, we can use do through and when statement to reflect this statement. This test method actually. Copy. Do through when statement, and let me comment those two source code line, and do through. You can see it's a runtime exception. Runtime exception class with list get 0, right? And 1. Of course, we can use create the runtime exception instance at here. Now, execution this test class or test method. Okay, it's similar about test method, right? But do through and then and when through the statement, I need to highlight the something. For example, as you can see, we defined the Vault method and Google Cloud Storage Service and through our exception, right? This method is the Vault type. So we could not perform the when then through statement on Vault method. We only can use the do through when statement for Vault type method. Let me demo to test Vault method. Test. Okay. Let me create the Google Cloud Storage and method internal method directly. Mock. Right? Define. Okay. When store any bytes class and then through our exception. And you will find it will occur the syntax error, right? Required type is T, but provided what. That means when then through statement not apply or not perform the what type method. So we only can use the do through and the when statement to reflect that. Do return or do through. Our exception. What? Oh, sorry. That will be fine and pass the Java syntax comply, right? And now let me call the store new batch. Okay, and executable. Assert this executable. Copy this. Executable and our exception. All right, execution is test method. All right, matched our expected, right? And also we can change the our exception. Our exception is checked type, checked exception type, not the runtime. It supports we stubbling at the runtime exception, and we assert at here, right? That's no problem. Execution. But on the contrary, it's not allowed. What means on the contrary is not allowed? We can still use the list as we know the list method not have the um, checked exception in the method define, right? So we can write a executable or and more stubbling statement for that list. Okay, as you can see, list get 0, but we will not expect the runtime. We wanted the checked exception. As you can see, so far it's not through the exception, right? That means the Java grammar or Java syntax is passed. It's allowed to comply, but at runtime it will be error. Let's execute at here. Exception class and write the executable directly. No need that. And then list get 0. This statement will be error. Execution. As you can see, checked exception is invalidated for this method, right? Because the test, at least the get method, is not define checked exception type. Okay, so that will be not allowed, but can pass the Java source code comply. So this is another we need to pay attention point. Let me simple summary. The first, for word type, we only can use do through one statement for stubbling the through exception. Okay, this is the first point we need to pay attention. And another we need to pay attention is uh, the method not defines the checked exception. We could not expect it and stubbling the through checked exception perform this instant and method. That will be not allowed and will be through exception by Mockito. Okay, let me comment this to source code. All right, um, I'm already introduced the when then through statement and the do through when statement. And the next lecture, we will introduce the when the answer and the do answer when statement. Okay, see you next lecture.